Hello there, and welcome to Homeschooling Adventures. My name is P. Raul, and in this particular video, we are going to be looking at what happens to firms that are in a perfect market that are going to make a loss in the short run. Okay, and how is that going to affect the market price? Remember, what we have now noted is we said there are no barriers to entry or exit in the perfect market, and then that would mean that businesses are free to come into the industry as well as leave the industry. Okay, and then we have also noted that the products that are being sold in a perfect market are going to be homogeneous products. And then we also say individual businesses, they do not have market power. In other words, they lack market power. They are unable to determine the price that is going to be charged for goods and services in that particular market or in that particular industry that they operate in. So this is what will happen. And then we also said the businesses that operate in the perfect market, they do make economic losses or profits in the short run, as well as making normal profits in the long run. Okay, so we are now going to explain the situation where the business has made an economic loss in the short run. Then how is that going to turn to a normal profit in the long run? Okay, now you would now notice that we said here we have our industry. In other words, this side I'm going to have the industry graph, industry, okay, and this industry is representing the market, okay, it's representing our market, okay, and that's where we have our quantities, origin, and our price, okay, and this is the force of aggregate demand and our aggregate supply. Okay, aggregate demand and our aggregate supply. Okay, right. Now, what is happening then when these two meet? We said that's our equilibrium. I'm just going to call it E there. Then it's 300 that is being sold in the market and at 10 rands. Okay, now you would now recall that if this is the industry, then the firm, the individual business, is going to accept the price as is determined by the forces of demand and supply. So in this case, I'm going to draw on the side, I'm also going to draw the graph for the individual firm. Okay, individual firm. So this side is the price, it's the quantity, and that's the origin. And then we say they accept the price as is determined by the industry. Okay, which means our D is equal to MR is equal to AR is equal to P. Okay, that's in the short run. And then because we have MR, it would now mean that we need to check where our MC is. Because we have AR, it means we need to establish where our AC is. But now you would recall that when we talk about a loss, okay, because this one is illustrating a loss. Okay, so a loss is a situation where the average cost is greater than the average revenue. If your cost is higher than your revenue, then that is a loss. So in this case, how is it illustrated graphically? Graphically, it would mean that my average cost curve is going to be hanging somewhere up there. Okay, that's my average cost. Okay, it doesn't touch the AR curve. Okay, so remember, if the average cost is a loss, then if it is a loss graph, then it means the average cost is going to be higher than the average revenue. So it doesn't touch the average revenue. Okay, that's a cost, average cost. Okay, that's an economic loss. Okay, so you would now, so we have fixed the average cost with our AR, then we now need to fix the MC with our MR. So our MC, remember, it's a Nike. When average cost goes down, MC goes down. Okay, and then that's my MC there. That's my MC curve there. Okay, which is my tick or my Nike. Okay, now the first thing that learners need to do is you now need to establish where the equilibrium point is. And we said in the previous video that equilibrium E is when supply is equal to demand, or we said our equilibrium is when our MC is equal to MR. That's our equilibrium point, where MC is equal to MR. That's our E. Is that correct? So in this case, my MC is this Nike, and my MR is this one. So it means at this point here, that's the point that I'm going to call my equilibrium point. Are we together? Right. So at this point, let's just establish two things. We want to know what is the market price and what is the market quantity. So our market price, as is dictated by the industry, it's 10 rands. Correct? And then our market quantity, okay, for the individual business is probably going to be 80 units. Okay, of the 300, then 80 units are produced by this individual business. Remember, this is aggregate supply. So it would mean these are the total goods that have been produced by the individual firms that operate in that particular industry. And the total goods that were produced is 300. Correct? And then this particular individual business is going to only contribute 80 out of those 300 that we have. Correct? Now I am glad you understood that. So what it means now is we are now saying this is our market quantity and this is our market price. Okay? Now for us to be able to calculate the short run equilibrium, the short run economic profit or economic loss, we said economic. Okay, we said economic profit or loss is calculated as saying TR minus TC. Okay, and then it would now mean that our TR, in this case, our total revenue, is found by saying price times quantity. Okay, minus this side again, it's a price times quantity. Okay, so it would now mean that this is our market quantity, and if we are looking at total revenue, then it means we look at our average revenue. Correct? So it would now mean that our quantity is 80 and our average revenue is 10. So it would mean now that it's 10 for our price times our quantity, which is 80. Correct? And then minus it's our cost now. So it means from the equilibrium point, we are going to draw a line until we touch our average cost curve. And then we touch this one is my average cost. Then I check on the price for the average cost. And you can see that the price here is probably 15. Okay, it's higher than 10 rands. So it's probably 15. So my average cost. So from the equilibrium, I draw a line going up until I touch my average cost curve. And at that average cost, I check the price. Okay, because I'm looking for the price. Okay, so it would now mean that the price is 15 times the market quantity here is 80. Correct? It would now mean that in this case it's 800 minus this times that's going to be, okay, that's 800 plus 400, that's 1,200. 1,200. So it would now mean that we are making an economic loss of 400. Okay? It means we are making an economic loss of 400 rands. Correct? Why is it a loss? It is because our total cost is greater than our total revenue. We are making 800, but our cost is 1,200. So we are making a loss there. So in this case now, it would now mean that this region here that we are seeing here is what indicates economic loss. And remember, learners, in the exam, this must be indicated. It must be indicated, especially if you get it as an essay. It's one of the easiest essays that you can get. So when you get it as in the exam, you should remember to indicate this part that it's economic loss. Okay, it's this rectangle here that should be indicated as economic loss. Okay, just this part here that I've shaded is our economic loss, and it shows an economic loss of 400 in this context here. Now, these losses that have happened in the short run, they are going to, because there are no barriers to entry and exit, they are going to result in some businesses that operate, some individual businesses that operate in that particular industry, exiting the market. So if they exit the market, they are going to shift the aggregate supply curve in our industry to the left. They will shift our aggregate supply curve to the left in the industry. Correct? Our aggregate supply curve is going to be shifted to the left. Okay? And this one will be a new supply curve, AS1 like that. Our aggregate supply curve is shifted to the left. Why is that so? It is because a lot of suppliers have left the market because of economic losses. Are we together? So what it will do now is it creates a new equilibrium position that I'm going to call E1. And at equilibrium position E1, it would now show that the quantity, the market quantity, is reduced from 300 to 200 perhaps, which is a confirmation that a lot of suppliers have left the industry. Okay? Now, at that point, it would now result in an increase in the price, okay, from 10 rands probably to 15 rands. Okay? At 15 rands, now this individual business remains as a price taker. It continues to accept the price as is determined by the industry. So it will now accept this price of 15 rands. Okay, and then we now have our new demand curve, correct? Which I'm going to call D1 is equal to MR1 is equal to AR1 is equal to probably our price P1, correct? Now, this is the new demand curve, this one now. So what has happened? The losses have been eroded, they are not there anymore. Why? Because the price has gone up. Why has the price gone up? It has gone up because a number of suppliers have exited as a result of the economic losses that were being made in the short run. So in the long run now, this is now in the long run because the price has increased, the quantity has also changed. So in the long run now, what it would now mean is this business is going to make normal profits. And at this point, the normal profits are still going to be calculated as follows. We are saying economic profits is equal to TR minus TC. Very important to state the formula. In the exam, normally you get this one is a 4-mark question. In the exam, this formula must be there because there is a mark that you will earn if you give the formula. So give the formula, state the formula, and then substitute into the formula and solve the problem. And then once you do that, you get your 4 marks. Easy as that. Right, so what we are going to do is our TR, which is our average revenue, it's going to be average revenue is now increased to 15. Okay, multiplied by the market quantity is at 80. Okay, no, market quantity now, MC is equal to MR. We have a new equilibrium point here, which is now E1, okay? And at new equilibrium point E1, it would mean that the firm now is selling a bit more than before, okay? Because the other people have gone. So the few that are left, they are going to share the demand that is there, okay? So it would now mean maybe it will increase from 80 to 90, correct? So it would now mean that our quantity there is 90, okay? And then it will our cost now, we are saying minus, the price is still 15, but the cost is now what? Our average cost here, still here, it's going to be 90 in terms of quantity. So it will mean here that we have that's 1,350 minus 1,350, if my mathematics is still correct there. And then it would mean now that our profits are going to be 0. So 0 economic profits or 0 economic losses. And these are referred to as normal profits. Okay, like in the previous video. this become our normal profits. So what does that mean? It would now mean that the firm that operates in a perfect market, if it makes economic losses in the short run, in the long run, it's going to make normal profits. Why? Because those losses are going to repel other firms, okay, or are going to result in other firms leaving the industry, okay, because there are losses. So if those firms leave the industry, the aggregate supply curve shifts to the left, resulting in a reduction in quantity that is being supplied and an increase in the price, in the market price. And if that happens, then it would mean that that increase in market price is going to be accepted by the individual businesses that have remained. And that will push up, and our AC will now sit at tangent with our AR curve. And at that point, we said we are going to realize normal profits or zero economic profits. But in the exam, you are supposed to indicate that these are normal profits. Okay, so this is all we had for you, looking at economic losses in this particular video, and in the other video we looked at economic profits in the short run and how they turn to normal profits in the long run for firms that operate in a perfect market. If you like the video, click the like button and remember to subscribe to the channel. All the best in your studies. I'm out.